Hello folks, I'm live a little bit earlier because I couldn't figure out how to set the like notification thing up. So sorry, I'm looking at myself rather than looking at the camera. I just want to make sure it kind of all looks okay. I'm trying out a new little tripod, so once I got it settled it should all be fine anyway. And I'm the only one here at the moment anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I've made a little pot of tea which I'm going to pour before I get started, and obviously oh, there's 2 people here already, so that's nice. Say hi. Hey from the dark pool. Hey Science to Soul Tarot. So I'm guessing that's Jen. Hey Beth. Hey, lovely to see you, Lunar Ascension. Sorry for the noise, I'm just dingling my teapot around because my tea's a bit weak. Got my little pot. I'm having a builder's tea and I don't like it when it's too weak. I'm going to let it brew for a little bit longer actually. Hey Dawn, hey Miriam, I'm gonna get it up on my laptop as well because I find it hard to follow along with the chat on my phone. I'm using my phone to film like I always use my phone for everything, but I find it hard to see it when it comes up on the phone. It just like comes up and disappears, so I'm gonna try and get it up on my laptop as well so I can follow along with the chat, and I'll be able to get some. What we're going to be doing is talking about word of the year. I'm going to mute that because I don't want to be hearing myself. Okay, cool. So I can see the chat and I can also type in the chat, which is good. Hi Nancy, hi Liz. So there's quite a few of us here. Yeah, what we're going to be doing is chatting about word of the year a little bit just to start. Hopefully, let me know if you've seen my video already talking about word of the year, or if you're kind of familiar with the word of the year concept or anything like that already. In a nutshell, a word of the year is, instead of like drawing up a bunch of resolutions or goals and things for the year, you can do those things as well. But word of the year is when you just choose one word, or it kind of chooses you, which you then take with you as a kind of touchstone, a talisman for the whole year. Hey Jana. I know, I did mean to put, it's been ages. When I first started the channel, I used to do lives every month on the dark moons, and I used to be able to make like a scheduled event basically, and I'm sure you can still do that, but I could not find how to do that at all. So thank you for being here and for like just managing to be around. I got like nearly all the notifications on my phone turned off, so I always like miss the good things. Oh, the tea's a lot better now. Perfect. So word of the year, what do we think about it? How are you familiar with it? Have you got your word yet? Have you not got your word yet? Because that is another thing that I'm going to be doing, is pulling some cards for you guys. I have got the Bestiary, Maia Bestiary here, which is in a gorgeous bag, which Liz actually, who's here in the chat, made this gorgeous bag. Let me show it to you. It's a wrap, rather, tarot or oracle deck wrap, and it's lovely. It's so big that you can also use it as a reading cloth, so I've been doing some readings on it as well, which is really cool. Look at it, it's so pretty. Crows and owls, I love it. So you should go to Liz's store. Liz, I don't know if you can leave a link, but if you can, leave a link. I think it's Dark Star Creations. Is it Dark Star Creations? So, yeah, definitely check those out. She also makes pants, which I'm going to be hoping to get a pair of knickers. Well, soon, in 2020, which is coming up very soon. Let me just check the chat on my laptop so I can see what's going on. So Liz says, struggling to commit to one. So have you got a list of possibilities, Liz? Dawn says, I haven't been able to come up with one yet. Okay, cool. Well, we'll be taking some cards and kind of trying to figure that out. Janice says, I've been struggling to find a word for 2020. So happy to be hanging out with you. It's lovely to have you here as well. Science says, oh, hi. Oh, Jen, such a nice way to start my morning. That's really sweet. Oh yeah, Liz says you can't do links, but it is Dark Star Designs for clothes and Old Ways Cottage for the tarot wraps, which are both on Etsy. So if you're interested in Liz's stuff, do go and check it out. She's a fellow UK witch, and it's always good to support fellow people from the community. So okay, so is there anybody here who already has their word and is sorted? Who's just kind of come for a chat? And if you have, then perhaps you could share a little bit about how you found your word, or just share what your word is. Or if you've got a list of possibilities, it sounds like, Liz, you might have, oh, hey, Heather. If you've got a list of possibilities, then you could share those as well. So yeah, I'm going to go down a little bit in my chair, actually. I feel like I'm a bit like heads going off the top of the screen. And now I can put my feet on the floor. I feel so awkward. My daughter is actually here with me in the background. She's setting up her bullet journal for, they can't see, you have to stick your face in if you're going to do that. She's she's setting up her bullet journal for next year. She's not having a word for the year. She decided she didn't want one. So, oh, hi, Jen. Nice to have you here. Yeah, and she wanted to carry on. She didn't want me to throw her out, so she's like, I'll be very quiet, I promise. So yeah, she's cracking on with that. I bought her, I'll show these. I bought her for Christmas. Do you mind? Is it okay if I do? The colouring book of shadows for 2020, because I thought this would be really handy for her to, she's not going to use it as a journal, she's going to, like I do, pull stuff out of it and stick it into her bullet journal. And I also bought her this, which Elaine showed me, Muse with the Moon. And this is so gorgeous. It's by the same person, Jo Caldrick, she did like a deck that was, it's only got like a few cards with it, one for each of the moon phases, but it's really beautiful. And this kind of takes you through the different moon phases. And it's got ideas for different things to do, and the pictures in it, and there's like quotes. Let me see if I can find one of the quotes pages, because they're really lush. It's got like what each moon phase is about, that kind of thing. And then it's got, it's typical, I can't find one now. Are there like quotes pages in here as well, and like things you can do, doodle pages, so you can use it kind of in an interactive way. So I got her that as well. And she was like, did you get them because you wanted them? And kind of, yeah. But, you know, why can't, you know, you should be able to do that, shouldn't you? Okay, so Blissful Heart, oh, hi, oh, there's a few people here that I haven't spoken to yet as well. Neely says, I started my Buju today for the first time. Cool, that's exciting. Blissful Heart, I had a hard time deciding, but I ended up choosing Empowered. Well, that sounds like a good one. And probably goes really well with this year, with 2020 being an Emperor year, if we're talking in tarot terms. I'm kind of seeing it as a Judgment and Emperor year, so it's like 2020 is like judgment judge twice, and if you cancel that down you get 4, which is the Emperor. So it's an Emperor and a Judgment year, and then obviously you do get the kind of the resonance of that as well with the 2s and the 0s, as you could be talking Fools and High Priestesses as well, you know. So there's quite a few different things going on. Hi, Labella. Oh, hey, Molly. Nice to see you. Beth says, yes, got mine. It's beauty. This is a challenging word for me because it will invite beautify myself and my home, everything I do, but it'll also get me into shadow work. Ah, yeah. So that is, and words are great for that, I find, for doing the shadow work, because you can try and choose, and like I talked about this a little bit in my video about the word of the year, is that you can kind of try and choose one that you really want, but it doesn't usually end up working out, or it hasn't. I've found, and like with a few people I know who have done it, is that you can't really choose one because you want it. You choose one because you need it. And so that is, for me, definitely that brings with it some essence of shadow work. And if you saw my bullet journal video, you'll know that my word has shifted again, which is really unusual. Like normally I know my word for the coming year in August even, you know, and definitely by Samhain, you know, I think I've got my word. But this year I thought it was Indigenous in the summer in August, and then by Samhain I was pretty sure it was Native, and then I dreamed just a couple of nights ago and realised that it is kind. Kind, kin, kindred, you know, it still has those native associations, but it also has that element of softness, of gentleness, of healing to it as well. So I'm really excited about that. Jen says, I thought mine was going to be something along the lines of live, which also works as live, which is interesting as well. But then surrender jumped out to me from several unexpected places. Okay, yeah. And that definitely, when you say it jumps out at you, I find that definitely happens to me. You won't be able to avoid it once once you've chosen it. Oh, hi, Donna. Molly says, I chose mine based on what I want to accomplish with shadow healing work too. Yeah. So you can obviously nuance it and kind of soften it sometimes, or even harden it sometimes if that's what you need. But yeah, it still needs to feel right. It still needs to click with you. Tarot Jen is, mine is becoming, but today being New Year's Eve here. Oh, of course, yeah, because in Australia, yeah, it's already New Year's Eve because you're a day ahead. That's really cool. Happy New Year, almost. Someone was setting off fireworks earlier on outside, so I don't know what's going on with all that. Yeah, I tend to do a bit of journaling and stuff on the New Year, and also on New Year's Day I like to do it as well. Heather says, I chose mine after brainstorming off my card of the year, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Progress. Yeah, that's an interesting one. The wheel has got so many possibilities because it has got all those things like progress, and it's got that man-made nature to it with it being a wheel with spokes, but then you can also think of it as in the turning of the season, a cycle, a nature cycle. So I love that it's got that kind of man-made and natural feeling to it. And so progress is an interesting kind of, if it kind of chassis in, no pun intended, chassis and wheels with that. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Jen, surrender sounds like, it sounds good. It does sound kind of like breathe out, so yeah. And I like people saying about connecting it with the cards of the year as well, because my birth date cancels down to a 1. My card of the year is always like a card ahead of what the word of the year is. So yeah, Molly says hers connects to her card of the year, even though she didn't mean, she didn't choose it specifically for that. So that's really, that happens. There is no coincidences. So okay, so shall we get the cards out? I'm going to use the Bestiary. I did an hour about using a tarot deck, but I think this will play nicer. Oh, hey, Lachette. Scarlet Moon Creations. So I've got the illustrated Bestiary here, which I've been using a little bit. Not loads since I've opened it, but a bit. And I'm finding it really good. And I think because we kind of instinctively have a connection with the animals nearly always already of what they mean. And the keywords, that's one of the main reasons why I chose this deck, because I thought it would be really good with this. Michelle says I'm live while you're awake and online. I did try and choose a time. Oh, and editing a bit. I'm throwing the cards everywhere now. Oh, thanks, Ella. I tried to choose a time, like it's 9 o'clock in the night for me, which is not too late, that's fine. Thank you. Which would work, because I know like in the States that means it's kind of like the afternoon, and in Australia it's the morning, so there's never like a good time when you're doing it all the way around there. Beth says my card of the year is the Hermit. Not sure if that relates to beauty. Well, I don't know, like if you're saying that you've been having issues with, not issues with, but like if your appearance is something that you feel you haven't got a happy relationship with sometimes, then like with the Hermit being about hiding things, not hiding I suppose, but like going away from the people and kind of hiding it in that sense, but actually shining that little light on it, I think it does fit in, that kind of idea of bringing things into the light as well. Yeah, I agree, Jen, definitely. So Jen's card of the year is the Hermit as well, or the Empress if you break it down. So I take it as both. Well, it'd be the High Priestess for 2, not the Empress. Yeah. High Priestess. Yeah. yeah, and Molly's saying the hermit indicates needing to turn inward, inner beauty. You know, beauty is an interesting one because it's something that has been appropriated by patriarchy. So it's something that we can reclaim and own in a very spiritual way. You know, it's made into something that is kind of seen as a fancy optional extra, when actually the world is essentially beautiful, I think. And so it's something that we can, it's a political reclaiming as well of that word and of that term and of that feeling. Okay, so who would like, I might put my glasses on actually so I can more easily, although it'll probably be shiny now because I've got a little lamp on here. Take one for you? Yes, I can. So if you would like me to draw a card, oh, that's much better. I can see it all much better now. I try to not wear my glasses unless I have to, because I feel like the more I wear them, the more reliant I get on them. So, but you know, sometimes it does help. Oh, Madison, I've seen you on my Instagram. I will take one for you then, because you're first to do. Okay, and you've got a barn owl, and on the top it says, listen for spirit. So that would bring up, for me, words around listening. I love that if we look at the imagery as well of the card, and like using cards to help bring on the word of the year is something that I find really useful. So it looks almost like a portal, a doorway, an entrance, wings as well. Listen. I love that it's got the scroll there as well. So maybe message, maybe here, listen, you know, if we're going to be really communication, perhaps. I don't know if any of those sound appealing or difficult. Or what's going on here? Heather says birth date plus birth month plus current year. Yeah, the way that Mary Greer recommends doing it is that you cancel it down within each unit, because your birthday is one unit in itself. So say you were born on the 23rd, you'd cancel that down first to 5, and then say you were born in November, that's 11, so you'd cancel that down to 2, and then you add on your 2020. So you would have 5, 2, 2020, and then you cancel it down. But different people do it different ways. Like they would add the numbers going straight across, and sometimes that brings you to the same answer anyway, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's worth having a little kind of go around with it. Right, Jen, okay, so you're using your birth year. So if you use your birth year, then that is, yeah, like Tarot with Jen is saying, that gives you your life path number. And you do cancel that down to a number up to 9. So it would be the High Priestess is your life path, which is pretty cool. You've definitely got a bit of a High Priestess vibe going on, especially in your videos. So who's up next? Hang on, who said yes? Oh, Matt says move is one of the words I'm noodling with. Yes, move. I wonder if there's a word that is like, it's more like, not like connect, but like kind of from A to B, travel maybe, you know? So you've also got that kind of communication element to it. I don't know. Yes. Okay, Dawn said yes, please. And do tell me again if you, because I'm trying to follow it along, but I, like you know, I ramble on a lot as well, so. Oh, and one's jumped out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one is very adamant on jumping out. So the same card again for you, Dawn. And I feel like, though, for you, that it is more about like about boundaries and barriers, about kind of like rise rise, soar, something like that, something like so like kind of more direct communication with spirit, and also kind of moving beyond the kind of social norms and boxes and things that have been, that people are trying to fit you into. So I'll show you the picture again, so you can, obviously it's the same picture, but when it's for different people, different messages come through. So yeah. Cheryl says flow. Yes, flow. Connect, I feel like. I don't know, travel for matters. Yeah, for Matterson. I'm nodding like you can see me. It's so funny because I do that as well when I'm watching on. And it's weird because like I can't see you, but I feel like, you know, we can kind of communicate like this, so it's fine. So Dawn, does that make sense to you? I hope that it does. Oh, okay, yeah. So one of the totems is the owl. So yeah, you're going to be working with owl energy for sure next year. Ella wants me to do one for her, so I'm going to do one for her quickly. Okay. Okay, it's Black Snake, which is ironic because she just pulled her card for 2020 out of a different animal deck, out of the Jessica Swift Animal Allies, and had snake out of there. And this card is, it says grow your truth, but I see it as very much like a healing card, like a self-healing card. I'll have to show you it. We can talk about it a little bit more later, and you can read what's in the book about it. Look at that imagery, it's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So you've got like a caduceus there. It's almost like dragon-like as well, that snake. Black snake, she said. Also so much shedding and rebirthing, like moving through different stages, like as if you're going to be like finding yourself over and over again.
That is weird because I did write down very weird is going to change.
Change, yeah, so that definitely fits in with that. Okay, blissful heart. Let's choose you a card. Do you have your word yet, or are you using this? I think you said that you don't yet, so let's see what might come up for you. Okay. Let's top one. Okay. So you have Oyster, which is a card that has been coming out of this deck several times for me since I've been using it. Like I said, I haven't used it loads, I've only had it a few weeks. And the catch line on it is deal with the dirt. And it's in the book, it's beautiful that she writes about how oysters are basically like filter is the word that comes out to me, filter, which might not feel like a very exciting word for the year, but it's like filtering out the stuff that you don't need to deal with anymore, and also kind of making the shit stuff shiny and valuable, and finding treasure in the stuff that other people are kind of casting off, and turning that dirt, that kind of annoying grit, into a pearl. So yeah, those kind of oh yes, empowered, you did say empowered. Oh, interesting, yeah. And like, they are the kind of, they're strong, you know, if you think about shells and things like that, but there's also that soft center. So I wonder how that fits in with your words. It might be worth kind of journaling on that and seeing what else comes up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl, I see it like a lotus in the image as well. I think it is very lotus-like, the way that Tower of Voices is kind of opening out like that. The imagery, the artist is so fantastic who's worked on these decks. Okay. I'm trying to go through in order so I don't miss anybody. Okay. So Apurva, am I probably saying that wrong? I'm sorry. Apurva. That's a beautiful name, actually. Okay, a card for you for next year, for 2020. Doesn't want to come out? Here. Yes. Okay, and you have a butterfly, a monarch butterfly. And the words on it says, digest your past. Because butterflies, you know, like literally the caterpillar has to completely break down in order to transform into a butterfly. So, you know, it comes with that renewal, regeneration, metamorphosis, beauty again, symmetry even, balance even. What else? Potential. So yeah, I don't know if that resonates for you. Let me know. Nancy says yes, she would like a card. So a card for Nancy. Oh, a sip of tea actually. Message for 2020 for Nancy. Red salmon. Navigate life with determination. And you know, the images of the salmon swimming upstream, and sometimes life can feel like that, especially as we've had Saturn in Capricorn all year last year. So it seems like it's saying, it speaks to me of things being difficult at the moment, or have been difficult, but you haven't given up. So the sort of words that are coming up are things like persistence, like spawn, maybe even. I don't know if there's like a possibility of children or a family kind of thing coming in. Determination, obviously. Tenacious. Strong, powerful. Also a kind of a word that would be like kind of like almost for a family for some reason. I don't know, family, yeah. So I don't know if any of those speak to you, Nancy. Let me know. Okay, so where are we up to? Liz. I can't see, because I've scrolled up in the chat now, I can't see if people are telling me, oh my gosh, there's like, okay, I'll try and catch up in a second. Let's do a card for Liz. So a card for Liz, who's procrastinating on her word, but who I feel like probably knows what it is. Just doesn't want to pull the trigger. Okay. A message for 2020 to go with the word. What have we got? It's so funny how certain cards just want to come out all the time. Oyster, you know, deal with the dirt, make something shiny. Precious, almost like diamond in the rough kind of elements to it. Oh, Beth just said about the butterfly, sovereignty, definitely, yes. Filter, like we can't get away from it. It is like small things. Like the daily, everyday magic. You know, I know I go on about that all the time as well, but it's that kind of thing. It's like small things being what you need. So perhaps almost something like daily, or like what is it? You know what it is. You tell us what it is. Okay. Salmon of knowledge, yes, definitely. The salmon. What card just shot? A card just shot out, and I can't even see it now. Ah. Oh, maybe it didn't. Maybe I imagined it. I thought I did see something fly out. But I would see it because there's nothing on the floor. Very strange. Okay. Right, so who have we got here? Okay, so Tarot with Jen, this is for you. And yeah, please do give suggestions as well to the other people in the chat, because things will come to you. You know, we all have access to this information, so let's share it. And yeah, that's gorgeous, Blissful Heart, exactly, yeah. Lachette's going to post something. Oh, the dog's trying to come in now. Ella will probably let him in when she comes back in now. So this is for Tarot with Jen. Signs to Soul Tarot with Jen for 2020. Oh, it's beautiful. You have the honeybee. Oh, Heather, did I skip you? I'm sorry, I will do you. I'll do you next. Thank you for telling me. It's so hard to kind of keep track of it in the chat, as you will know, Heather. Yes, so I'll do you next. So this is for Signs of Soul Tarot with Jen, and she has got honeybee. The words say navigate by the sun, which is just so gorgeous and glorious, and like you can almost smell the summery scents in there. And I think, you know, like it is evocative of the sun card also in tarot. So like things like just joy, sun, shine, rays. Also they've got the work element with the bees, but like kind of working together, so kind of cooperation, building things together, building kind of the output being bigger than the person, so like building something bigger than yourself. I don't know if you've got plans for doing that this year, like creating something, or like a legacy also, you know, legacy. Thinking about creating something that is going to last. And Cheryl says sweetness. Yeah, sweetness. Nectar. And just all the good things. So that is a beautiful, beautiful card to have for a year, and lots of good words that can go with that. So Heather, let's do yours. I promise not to miss you out again. Have another bit of tea. Can you have a look on that floor for me? Because it seems like a card went flying, but then I couldn't see it anywhere. And also I think the dog wants to come in. He might have given up now. He can come in if he wants.
He might chew whatever card is on the floor.
I don't think there is a card on the floor. I couldn't see one, but it sounded like one popped out. Yeah, maybe.
Got rid of all of these.
Yes, it does. I think the bees is nurturing. Oh, I hope not. That'll be a nightmare. Ella thinks he might have landed in my collage stuff. I think he must have not fallen, because I might have just imagined it. Okay, so where are we up to? Heather, that's right. I was going to miss you out again then. Yeah, I'm going to try and get through everybody, so don't stress, you know, and if you go and come back, that's fine, like Lachette is doing as well. So, and I'll try and speed up. It's just, I hate rushing when you're doing readings, even with just one card. It's not, it doesn't feel good to rush. Okay, so you have a damselfly, Heather. And I know you have your word. You have your words, don't you? Yes. Be in progress, which is interesting. Commune with nature. And it's funny because we talked about progress, didn't we, Bean? The dog's like sneezing. Are you okay?
You know, I just said bless you.
I talked about, I already rambled on, didn't I, about the whole kind of like the wheel being a man-made thing, but also cycles, like the man-made item, useful, functional item takes its inspiration from cycles in nature, from those kind of spirals and cycles that are in nature. And there's even like a spiral drawn on this card. So I think, you know, like progress is going to be, and progress can sometimes be like this as well. It's like sometimes when you think about progress and the wheel, well, well, the wheel is like one of those things that's like reinventing the wheel, and people like, don't bother. Because it's already been invented, you know, don't reinvent the wheel, don't bother doing that because it's already been done. And there's almost an idea that like we can't, people see humans as like starting from this beginning point and progressing in a linear way to like a certain point. But I feel like in the last couple of years we've got to this state in our evolution where we've realized that actually that linear model isn't true, and that actually human evolution and certainly civilizations operate more on a cycle model. And so I think for you, it'll obviously be progress in your own personal life in terms of what you are working with and working on. But I think perhaps you will have a thoughts on and perhaps a role to play in the bigger idea of progress and what we as a race, as a species, how we can take that forward into the world. I'm not saying that you have to like, that you're going to have to solve it single-handedly, but I feel like you will have thoughts on it and you'll be able to influence people in your community, perhaps, things like that, to properly progress, to progress more in sync with nature rather than in sync with false ideas of how the world does work, you know, in that kind of linear, false way of looking at things. So a bit political, hopefully that will be fine. So yeah, let me know if that makes sense, and I will get to it soon, hopefully. Hi, Suze. Oh, Heather says that's interesting. Good. I'm glad that isn't too daunting, which is how I would have felt about it, but it's good. Right, so who are we on to? Danny. Okay, I'm catching up. Donna's chosen witch, and I love that as a word of the year. It's so cool. So cool. Dedication is cool as well, yeah. And that works on so many levels as well. It's got a lot of history to it, that word, a lot of kind of provenance. Star is a lovely card to have for the year, and healing, yes. And so that would definitely make sense with what we drew here as well. Okay, so Fairy Lunar Wolf is going to, this card is going to be for you. Are Leafy in it? Has tuned in when you're setting up your puja. Well, surely you can listen in while you're setting up as well. Although I find that difficult, to be honest. I try and watch videos while I'm doing my setup, and I actually find listening to music a lot more, it doesn't split my attention. I'm not very good at doing two things at the same time. So, Fairy Loon Wolf. A card for 2020. Talisman for the year. Okay, I don't know if you're planning a depth here, but that's what instantly jumped out to me looking at this card. Dive under the surface is what the words say, and it's an orca. And you can see that there is support from the family underneath as well. So I feel like you are going to be supported in whatever it is that you choose to do, but that you will need to go deep, and deep, explore, support even perhaps. What else? Ripple, if that's not too weird. Make waves. Those kind of things. If anyone else has got suggestions as well, do share. It's also like just really like the scale of it is really large as well. So like feel free to take up space. Feel free to take up as much space as you want in 2020. Don't let people try to keep you small. Oh, good. Yes. Went through a massive awakening, she says, this year that has left her a little discombobulated. Well, I think you're going to hit your stride next year, because, you know, big change always requires a period of integration. So that is as it should be. That is how, you know, it's the same in nature, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so Donna is next. I'm going to pull a card for Donna. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I can see a couple of people have just tuned in and they're asking about how to find your word for the year. And there's lots of different methods. I know I can see people sharing in the chat about Susanna Conway, who's got like a workbook. It's like a daily email that comes for a few days. That you can work along with that. If you like something a little bit more less woo, Christine Kane has a find your word kind of exercise on her website. If you want something super fast, you can go to Benabel Wen's word for the year page, and she's got like a generator. She's got a list of words, and you use a random number generator to generate a number and then match it against a word. And so, you know, that is another way of finding your word. I like to kind of do it over a long period of time. Obviously, that might not help if you want to have it ready for the new year. I know in Australia it is already New Year's Eve, so yeah, we're running out of time. Hey, Shadow Moon Witch. But basically, you can choose it, but really you will probably uncover it is probably more of a better way of doing it. Okay, so Donna, this is for you. Donna. Okay. And so Donna's word is witch, and we have an ankh here. Maybe priestess might have been more in keeping with this card, but there is not a witch card in this deck. So we've got the cat there. What more do you want? And the catchphrase, the line is, you are worthy. So Donna, I hope you are making notes. So I know you often don't feel like you are, and you really are. And see how the cat is beneath the lion, Sekhmet, and you can see we feel like cats, but we also have that lion, we also have that divine aspect to ourselves. We have that connection if we want it. You have it, you can trust it, you are worthy. Okay? Okay. So I hope that is helpful, Donna. I don't like to kind of kick your ass too much. Oh, yes, Billy's Craft Room made a message about Susanna Conway. I've just approved it. It was asking me to approve it, which is really annoying, but there we go. So where am I up to? Why does Suze need a pen? What's going on here now? I'm in bed, I don't have a pen handy to note down the people you said. Okay, so I also made I've done a blog post. If you can go to my blog, which is thestorywitch.com, and if you search for word of the year, there is links to all of the resources that I mentioned there as well, so you can do that. Or you can have a card now, and see where that leads you. So yeah, Molly's got a great idea about using word association to choose. Write down new year, think about your hopes and goals, and then write down what words come to mind. Choose one. You can even, like, if you've got a few options, you can write them down, stick them in a hat, pull one out, and then see how you feel. Susanna Conway recommends something similar. Is it her who does this, or Amy Palco? I think it's Susanna Conway. Or like, I think she says flip a coin, but if you pulled one out and then you were like, oh no, I didn't want that one, then you know that wasn't the right one. Because you do know, you know. That's why I like the pendulum as a method for helping to choose, especially if you've got a few that you're trying to narrow down. Okay, people have come in that I've missed as well, so I'm sorry. Hello to everyone who's here. There's like 41 of us here at the moment, which is crazy. Especially as I couldn't actually set it up as an event because I'm forgotten how to do that, or they've changed it probably, and that's why I couldn't remember how to do it. Right, where are we up to? Oh, Liz has admitted that her word is boundaries. What about shell, Liz, with the oysters? That might be interesting because you can have a shell as like protection, like an eggshell, but you can also come out of your shell. So that could be interesting. Nancy's saying there's been family troubles and struggles. Yeah. Okay, so that was in the card, and like it might feel like you're all not really communicating, but you are all kind of heading in the same direction. You've just got to find your own way there, okay? So you can get through it. You're just going to need to kind of put your head down and go for it really next year. Okay. Yeah, Denny says that a friend of hers has a butterfly tattoo because it reminds her of being a survivor. So you could even have survive, because not all butterflies do. And it, like, if you're a primary school teacher or a parent, then you've probably done this and realised that it is like not a great survival rate with the butterflies. Oh, hey Nick, I didn't know you were here. That's cool. Right, Jana says she would like a card. So is it Jana or Yana? I feel like I want to say Yana, but I don't know because your surname doesn't look like that it's going to be kind of Eastern European, which is why I associate that with it, that name. So sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Let's take a card for you for next year, for 2020. Okay, so you have damselfly like Heather, and it says commune with nature. And I feel like for you this is actually a more direct message, as in literally get outside more. To spend more time, less time kind of inside thinking about it and reading about it, and more time actually living and experiencing, kind of being in flow. Even the word nature itself, rhythm, cycle, season. Damselfly is also very much like, you know, it is the whole birth, rebirth kind of thing. Oh, Ella, can you let the dog out? And can you give me a glass of water as well, please? It's handy having somebody else in here again. So I think there's also like there's definitely depth connection there as well. So like kind of going down into the deeps within your subconscious, your unconscious, the collective unconscious, bringing up information from there. Guide, even like spirit guides, also making connection with guides this year for you. But doing it outside, being outside, actually out there. So like guides, tree spirits even, things like that. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense and doesn't sound weird. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see you come in Billy's craft room. It's nice to see you. It's so cool doing the lives because you actually get to chat to people that I see in like comment sections and stuff, but I don't often see live anymore because I don't do lives anymore. So perhaps more in 2020 because it's fun, isn't it? It's actually fun. So Jen, you are up next. Jen, the middle-aged baby witch, the high priestess. A card for you, for Jen, for 2020. Beautiful. Okay, thanks, darling.
Welcome, doctor.
Oh, thank you. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Slide into joy, the river otter. Look at those rainbows. And like, they are like the sign for Cancer, you know, that kind of like nurturing joy. In joy in connection, joy in nurture, nourishing, play, that kind of thing. Obviously you can find joy in work and stuff as well, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels more like, well, yes, you already had surrender, so it is like you might have to make yourself release, maybe even, you know, let your hair down, go with the flow. Not to be too cheesy. Yes, witchcraft is the yin yang. That was also what I was trying to think of, you know, that kind of symbol of those two things. Part of the surrender for me is going with the flow, sliding. Yes, yeah. Yeah. And also letting things slide, you know, like not feeling so responsible for things all the time and having to get things done in a certain way. There's some things that you can let go, let them slide. And focus on, but don't even focus, just see where it goes, where it takes you. Okay, a couple of people have asked me about the deck. Let me show you. It is this deck, which is more a book than a deck, really. Obviously, you do get the cards in the back, but the cards are not amazing. I did a review, a walkthrough of this, if you want to see it in a bit more detail. It's the Illustrated Bestiary by Maia. There's 36 cards, and they are all gorgeous. They're all really, really cool. The book is really good as well. If you want to see more about that, then watch that video. It's really cool. You know, you can see inside it. I take you through the book. She has like rituals and things in there as well, and suggestions of how to work with the animal, which is really cool. Okay, so Jen. Marie would like a card. So let's have a card for Marie.
Should I close the door?
Maybe. I can hear Dill singing in the background. My son has been into playing Fortnite lately, and Neil is playing Fortnite with him. I don't know who's enjoying it more.
Are you sure? Dad does like it.
Oh, sorry, walking path. Yeah, I don't know why why YouTube does that, but it doesn't always let everybody know. Okay, for Marie. Oops. Okay, this one's jumping out for you. Okay, work together. House mouse is the animal, but if you see in the image, I'll show it to you again. I just wanted to take some inspiration from it. They are kind of helping each other to get into those nuts and get what they need, which is really nice. So like words like cooperation, like tribe, I feel like actually. It's like finding the people who you can work with, because it might be that you feel like you don't like working, like you feel more like a bit of a loner, but that you can't necessarily get the results you want. None of us can, you know. It's like a cliche about not being an island and all that sort of thing, but it is we are, as a species, as inhabitants of Earth, necessarily interdependent. And if you don't enjoy working with other people, that's because those other people are not the right people for you. So I feel like your mission this for 2020 is going to be to find the right tribe, to find the right people, to group together with the people who are your kindred, your kin. So it's kind of similar to what I'm going to be working on next year as well. So I hope that resonates for you, Marie. Let me know what you think. Okay. So I think I'm catching up a little bit. I know I have. I saw Suze ask, I know you want one. I've got you down. It's cool. I'm working through it. I'm going to do Kathy, who's got her word, which is nourishment. Marie says, yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's what you're going to have to do next year, is find your people. And like, I know, I hate it too. But you have to kind of put yourself out there, you know, go to things that you enjoy and see who turns up there, and find your people. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be time to do it. There's going to be time. So this is for Kathy. And you have got Beaver, make manifest. Oh, Yana, yes, definitely. Please do plant your garden, or even just like look around, be outside. You know, you can take your book with you. Don't take your phone. Okay, so for you, Kathy, you have got work to do this year. You're going to be working to make something really important, really that will have a big impact on your community. Again, like for Maria, is going to be working with other people. But your part is a very important part. So if you're involved in a community projects, anything like that, then you will see good results from those this year. If you aren't involved with anything like that yet, then have a look around locally to you. So like, you know, this is not necessarily a project. I feel like this is like an in-person thing. It's not like an internet type thing. So try and find something locally to you that you can get involved with, that you can help with. I feel like it might even be like a kind of conservation project. You know, the beavers are building dams, things like that. So, well, not things like that, So find a project that you can get stuck into. I feel like for your word, we're talking things like, well, obviously manifest, damn, even, you know, as in like stop. I feel like maybe your energy has been flowing away from you a bit too quickly, and so if you can build that dam, you can contain your energy better, and you can choose when you let it flow and when you don't. So you can pick a cause to put your energy into. So yeah, so it's kind of like focus as well, really. There is conserve, contain, hold, that kind of thing. But I feel like it is very much to do with your energy and your balance of energy. So yeah, let me know, Kathy, if that makes sense. Molly says it's a really cute deck. It is, and I think the keywords on it are fantastic, which is why I decided to use it for this, because like I think as well, even if you're just a beginner using the cards, you can get an awful lot out of it. Protection, yes, this will help. Oh, Kathy says yes, it makes sense, that's good. Okay, so protect, and it is about that kind of protecting your energy, but I feel like it's also about directing your energy into where you want to direct it, and not just kind of letting it kind of flow everywhere. Also perhaps to do with messages as well, like maybe you get a lot of messages about like, you know, I don't mean like text messages and stuff, I mean like downloads about other things, so that like you might be in a queue and you can pick up on the feelings and what's going on of everybody around you. So if you can make that dam and conserve that energy, protect yourself, then you can keep your energy more for you, on point, you know, what you want to be doing with it. Okay, so Billy's Craft needs a card for the nesting project, which is a decluttering project. I'm dreading it, but time is running out and it must be done. Okay, so yes, Molly, they definitely are. They are industrious. They work hard, don't they? They keep going. Oh, home. I love home. Yes, coming home to yourself, homing. Building your own home as well, yeah. Nest, as we're talking about with Billy. Okay, so what is going on with this project? You don't sound very happy about it. It sounds lovely though, a nesting project. Yeah, people asking for cards. We will get there. I'm going to just make sure that we go through. Okay, Billy, you've got the bees. You've got the honeybees as well. So navigate by the sun. Just get on with it, you know. Just think about, can you get help? Can you get other people in to help you to do it? Because like a lot of people working at the same thing will speed it along. Sling your windows open, get some music on and get to it. Have plenty of snacks. Plenty of sweet snacks. And that should get you through it. It's so lovely, that card, isn't it? It's just like all the good things. Yeah, and let your joy guide you as well. So like if you were dreading it, if you're feeling crap about it, then perhaps something needs to be tweaked in it that will actually make you feel differently about it. Like perhaps it's a should rather than a want to for you. So have a little reflect on that as well. Okay, so Heather said I skipped her. That was from before, so that's okay. I've caught up with that now because I did it. Yeah, I'd love Nourish. I wish I could have a Nourish year. Okay, Rachel says she'd love a card, and there is time. Yeah, and I agree with you, Rachel, about getting too much in your head at this time of year. It can feel like that, and also feel like there's a lot to do, in like as if it's a bit like when you have a baby, and it's like you have to get everything because it's as if shops aren't going to exist after the baby's born. And it's the same with New Year's. It's almost like I've got to get everything in place because, you know, I need to be up and running as soon as the new the new year goes. But we don't have to, you know, there's plenty of time. There is plenty of time. What did you say then, Billy? I saw you have a message and I couldn't see what it was. I'm trying to rename it, to reframe it. Health issues make it hard to do this. Okay, I know I only have this year to do it. Got to move. Okay, so the queen bee has to relocate. That is difficult. That is difficult. Follow the sun. Yes. Send me a message. Message me after. I'll speak to you about that a little bit more, Billy, if you want to. Okay, send me an email. I think you've emailed me before, so send me an email. We can talk about that. Okay. Suze, we are on to you, I think. No. Hang on, I've skipped some. Yeah, Molly, exactly that. Yeah, we don't actually we don't act. We spend so much time preparing that we don't actually do the thing. And like, not like when you have a baby, you don't have that actual like physical rite of passage when it's a new year, apart from like, you know, maybe getting drunk and singing in the street, which, you know, we tend to do. Rachel, that's where I was. Sorry, Rachel. I'm there. That's why we're talking about being in our head as well. Okay, a card for you. And you've got a beautiful one. You've got the same one as Donna had. You are worthy. It is a tabby cat. I don't know if you have a cat, perhaps. You're familiar. But I feel like with this card that you kind of are the cat, and you are seeing yourself, the truth of yourself, the whole truth of yourself, the divine aspects of yourself and the mundane aspects of yourself, and you're coming to terms with the fact there is much more to you than science will say. You know, I think it feels like to me like coming to terms with your soul. I don't know if you are a kind of more scientifically minded person, and so, you know, this kind of thing might be a little bit woo, but that's okay. We don't have to understand everything for it to be true, and we don't have to have an explanation for everything for it to be true. So I feel like words could be soul, incarnate, search. Maybe not search. It's more like kind of connect with the higher self. So if somebody could condense that down into a word, that would be really helpful. I know we got some good wordsmiths in the chat, so yeah, please do your magic on that. It is like to know yourself, to know your full self, the truth of yourself, the bigger self, the lion, not just the tubby cat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Kim, that's no problem. I will. Discovery, yes, I love that. Discovery. Meditate. Almost as well, like maybe like, it's almost like an archaeological dig as well, you know. It's something that you know to be true and that you will find. Yeah, Billy, please do that. Yeah. Tash, let's do you. And this is one of the things I loved about this deck. It's an animal deck and it has humans in here because it reminds us that humans are animals. We are animals. And the word on this is remember forgetting. And I love it. I love everything about this card. I'm throwing it around because I love it so much. It's the book, you know, the book learning, but the whole kind of, you know, like when you read a book and it actually comes to life for you. And I feel like that is what we're getting at with this. It's like, it's aha moments, it's epiphanies. You know, if we're talking words, we're talking like aha. I don't know if you could have that as a word for the year. That would be weird, perhaps. But epiphany, definitely. Remember, as in, like Lisa Lister talks about, as in remember, putting things back together. So finding your physical self, rooting in the physical, but also placing yourself in that lineage of our species, you know, being connected to your ancestors, being connected to what is going to come after you. Like we say in Red Tent, you know, this is the cord that connects with those who have come before and those who will come after. I feel like that is that sense of continuity, that sense of progression, of your place in the universe is what this card is representing for you. So Tash, I hope that makes sense to you. It's a powerful one, for sure. Yeah, nurturing is lovely. Denny, yes. So you think your word is fortify and you want a card. Let's do it. Yes, we will have cards. It's fine. There's 47 people here and I've done a bunch already. And not everyone is asking, so it will be fine. Okay, so for a card for Denis, whose name on here is Alkaloth, so okay. What do we have? Okay. So you have pause, assess, act, and it is white-tailed deer. And interesting about you saying about your word being fortify, because it looks to me like those deer are very much protected. They are within those triangles which are keeping them safe from being hunted. Although to me it also looks a little bit like when they have been hunted and they are mounted on plaques, if you see what I mean, like people having hunting lodges and things like that. So I feel like it's just a little bit of, yeah, Molly, no problem, that's fine. I feel a little bit like just be careful that you do not over fortify and literally kind of cut your head off to avoid having to kind of deal with the real world, if you see what I mean. So by all means, institute boundaries, definitely do that. Just be mindful that, and you know, and it's a family of deer as well, isn't it, on that card? So be mindful of not sort of display, also like with the, you know, with the head, it's like displaying yourself in one particular way. It's fixed. It can't be changed. So just be prepared that with fortify, it can be literally set in stone. So let it be perhaps a little bit more flowing with that, because I think wheel is your card as well. So think about the flow. Pause, assess, act is interesting as well. So more to think on with that, for sure. Okay. Okay, Jane Hardy is a great book on boundaries, talking about this kind of thing. So yeah, definitely have a look at, I'm throwing cards around again. That's the only thing with these cards, is because they're so tiny, because they're out of the back of the book, you don't get, they're not as nice to use as like a proper deck of cards. So where are we on to? Okay, I'm just catching up with the chat, sorry. Yeah, people are giving great advice. Oh, hi Nicole, I didn't know you were here. Texas Rose says her word is refinement. Oh, Denny, I love craft. Craft is a brilliant word. There's so much in that. Yes, but perhaps not quite right if you're wanting a more of a boundary word. I don't know. Although, you know, there are definitely ways to craft that. Okay, so Labella 247 has got breathe, but would love a card. So let's have a little look. And Leafy in it is still here. Having a little break. Wilderness, oh my gosh. I think I'd be tempted to have wild. It's got wild in it already, hasn't it? It's amazing, I love it. Yes. Okay, so for Labella's 247 for 2020. Oops. Smashing against my water glass here. Let's have a look. And you have pause, assess, act. Again, you know, 36 cards and you draw the same one again like that. It's, for you, I feel like it is more about pausing, and I'm seeing the family as more like you're a kind of protector of the family. So maybe, oh, breathe. Okay, so you've already got breathe, and it's got pause, assess, act. And I think perhaps it's that pause and assess. It's like a year to literally just breathe. Maybe take up some kind of breathing practice as well, and just don't feel like you have to go in and do everything for everybody else. You know, feel you could see if you can be free to, when you feel that urge to intervene, pause and breathe before you do anything. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Words, you know, I think breathe is going really well with that card. That card goes brilliantly with breathe. So I think that's already kind of in there. That seems to confirm your thoughts on that card, on that word. Yeah, Kim says I'm taken with the idea of rewilding, or even be wilder, bewilder, yeah. And also like just wilding in general. Right, I'm going down. Dominique says, how do I choose my word of the year? Hopefully we've answered that. Yeah, Woodland Whispering is a beautiful name. Blissful Heart says, I associate orchids with subconscious intuition, inner knowing. Yes, yes. And that kind of telepathy as well, you know, intuition, as you said, definitely. Yeah. Dominica, you absolutely can choose it intuitively. That is totally, I think that's kind of really the only way to do it. Oh, yes. Reread Women Who Run With the Wolves for sure. Also, Danielle Dulski has got a book. What is the name of that now? It's about being wild. It's got wild in the title, and that is pretty good as well. It's got some good exercises and things like that. So that is something to look up. Bella says that makes total sense. That's good. Good, good. Try and take a step back this year, definitely. Yeah, I love that card for Donna as well, Jen. Okay, there's an account called Mountain Modern Life on YouTube, so I don't know that channel, so I'll have to check that out, which has got a good video on choosing your word. Dominic, if you'd like a card, then yes, I think you've said yes. You can have a card if you would want one for sure. Write down your and think about, yeah, we've already covered that. Okay, so a card for Sue's we're up to now. The Holy Wild, that is what I was thinking of. Thank you, Texas Rose, yes. Yes, the Holy Wild. And it has some good exercises and things if wild, wilderness is, that's just a fantastic, dangerous word. Okay, so Suze, what are we going to go for? Okay, and you also have the Orca, which, we've already talked about being about intuition, about being about going deep into the subconscious, into the unconscious. So I think words that are coming out for there are definitely depth, intuition, connection, empath, communication, spirit. Come on guys, throw some out from here as well with this. It's about rising above what you feel is possible for you as well. So I think don't be worried about what the people close to you are going to think about it if you're going to choose to do something differently. Just because whales are usually below the surface, you can also come out and be seen. You can, you are a mammal. Obviously, whales do need to be in the water most of the time, but they can breathe in both. They can cross boundaries. You can break through boundaries. You can transverse. You can travel. Even like astral project maybe, which is an interesting one because you have the whole project and project with that, if you see what I mean. So yeah, possibilities for you, Suze, for your word. Moon Rabbit Curios, I am still drawing cards. Once I start, I don't stop until we get to the end. So we will get there. Dominica, you will be up next after Moon Rabbit Curios as well. So, okay. Okay. So this is for you, Moon Rabbit Curios. Oh my gosh. This is such a good card for this year as well because we are in an Emperor year. We are thinking about our place in the grander scheme of things, in our lineage, our legacy. This is a theme that is coming up through a lot of the cards that we pulled this evening as well. So it says honor lineage. It is elephant. And, you can see from the card, the different elements of it. It's very powerful. It has that kind of, the sense of journey in it, that sense of how the past connects with the now and with the future, how we're going to take it forward. I feel like, this is not the lightest of cards for sure. It feels almost like words like responsibility, like legacy, like lineage, like ancestors, like even something like DNA, journey, path, path working. We've got that kind of beading of a path almost in there. Weave as well, weaving the threads of the past into the present, into the future. Yeah, flow with the water. It's definitely got a strong elemental feel to it as well. That's, it's an important year for you, a very important year for you. Okay. So Dominica. Yes, Billy, I love that. Elephant card, all connected, all family, in that greater sense. Literally, we are. Profound, yes, it is definitely going to be. And I love profound also has depth to it. It has gravitas to it. It has weight to it, like an elephant. Yeah. Okay, Dominica. Card for 2020. What have we got? And we have butterfly. Again, we have monarch, butterfly. Digest your past. I think there's another butterfly in this deck as well, actually. Digest your past. But more I see for you, this 2020 is going to be about organising and getting things kind of sorted out in a physical sense as well as a kind of emotional sense. In fact, by sorting out your physical world, so like literally by perhaps getting your physical body how you want it and taking care of yourself physically, but also getting your home. It's hard when there's obviously other people living with you and they're kind of messy perhaps, but taking control of that and getting things organized how you want them. I feel like by doing that, that will ripple out, so you will feel more free in your emotions, and you will also be more open to a spiritual connection if you can get the physical space organized, Dominica. So that is your kind of job. If you just focus on the physical, then it will ripple out to those other levels as well. So words like organize, it's not very exciting perhaps, but sort would be a good one. Ripple even, you know, when you think about how small things will ripple out like that. Butterfly effect, you know, that's something we talk about, like when a butterfly flaps its wings and across the world there's a hurricane, you know. It might feel like you're not doing very much, but you are actually doing it all. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. And it's also, you know, got that element, like it says on the card, digest your past. It is got an element of drawing a line, of letting go of what has come before and being able to recreate yourself new, to be birthed again in this. Yeah, it has come up, hasn't it, quite a few times, the physical environment. And like I have just been okay, Dominica, yes, yeah. And like I've literally just moved into this room because if you've seen I just did like a little video of where I've come downstairs, so instead of being in the attic, which I love, and I still feel a little bit sad about it, but I just feel like this was what was needed. And so now I've got this like kind of quite tiny little room, but it's very cozy and it will work fine. And the kids have got the attic. I mean, obviously they're not going to be here forever, so eventually I will probably get the attic back. But yeah, it feels like that is something that is happening for all of us. I think probably the kind of astrology of the time is definitely playing into that as well, with that kind of pile-up of Capricorn planets. For me, that's my 4th house, so it's like home, organisation, root stuff. Okay. Oh, the Shadow Moon, Richard, I want to say your bullet journal is looking amazing so far. Thank you. I've done a little bit more today. And it's nice in a way not doing the plan with me, because I can just kind of not overthink it, and it just lets me just, you know, it can be a bit crap and it doesn't matter. Yes, she does. So Billy's saying about how Susanna Conway says that you can have a main word and have supporting words, and that is totally cool as well. Some people hate that, like Christine Kane's resources are very much like you should choose one. You should just choose one. So different people have different opinions on it. You know, I don't like to have rules about stuff like that. I think that kind of takes the joy out of it. Oh, Molly, that's so interesting. Are you working through it, like the alchemical process? Have you had the other words before? Because there's a lot of work in those words. Yes, the priestess. Donna, you are the priestess, definitely. Oh, I love it. Bright is a gorgeous word for 2020. And I think that does tie in with your card as well, you know. It's got, that has also got, if not like physical depth, it has got scale to it, definitely. Oh, Dominica, sorry. I hope you heard the card that was yours. Oh, radiance. Yes, I love that. Yeah, woodland whispering. Sometimes that can happen, and it's good when you will know. Ella's throwing the scissors around on the floor now. Oh yeah, chariot card, chariot year. That's tricky, Molly. But you know, necessary, and at least it goes fast. Okay, I'm catching up a little bit now. I'm just trying to go quickly. Yes, definitely, Kathy. I love what she said. The work is sometimes just us waiting to acknowledge, integrate, embrace all our parts and players. Welcome all of it with eyes softly open. Transformation in the simplest, deepest way. That is beautiful. That is a gorgeous way to say it. Billy said, is that a pint of Adam's ale? This is what my mother-in-law called water. No, it is actually water. I'm getting through it pretty quickly. Oh, Lachette's back. That's cool. Right, the fizzy brunette wants a card. Yes, you can. We will do it now. So, fizzy brunette, card for 2020. Let's see what. It's funny now, I'm now seeing the feedback from some of the people from the cards from like way up. So, okay, so you've got the spring peeper, which is a type of frog. And the words are evolve into your next becoming. So, you know, we're getting a lot of cards like this that are about life cycles and change, which makes total sense. You know, January for all of us is going to be a huge shift. And like, because it's from an astrological point of view, we have got Pluto conjuncting Saturn, and you know, January is when it's happening exactly, but because Pluto is such a slow moving planet and like Saturn's not exactly a fast planet, it is a long running thing. So we're all going through these themes of kind of death and rebirth and finding new ways of being. But I love in this card how you can see like the ice has been broken, and I feel like it's not as harsh as butterfly in a way. You know, you don't, as a frog, you don't have to completely break down before something new will come. It is a more gradual transition. Like if you watch tadpoles, you know, they gradually grow their legs and their other legs, then they lose their tails. You know, it's a gradual process. So I feel like this year for you is going to be a more gentle becoming, a gentle blossoming. And it does say evolve into your next becoming. So it's not as... It's not a literal death, rebirth. It is a more gentle transition, change, evolution, becoming, blossoming, those kind of words. Spring, even, you know, is that kind of bounce into the next thing in a more kind of, in a more joyful way, in an easier way. So that sounds good. That sounds nice to me. Is a good way of doing it. So that was for you, Fizzy Brunette. Let me know if that makes sense, and I'll probably see it in about 20 minutes. Kim, you would love a card. Yes, let's get a card for you. Good. Good, good. I'm glad it makes sense. Maybe look it up, the spring peeper, and find out a little bit more about that kind of frog. It's not native here, but where Maia is in the United States, it's a native creature for her. So Kim, for 2020. And we just can't get away from this card now, can we? It's the third time or fourth time it has come up. It is, you know, and I was literally just talking about it, about the whole Saturn-Pluto scenario and how we are facing this death and rebirth. We have to, because we've come to a state in our human evolution, and also at a point of view in the earth, exactly, stalker card, that we need to, not in a frog gentle evolution kind of way, but in a massive change kind of way, but a beautiful change, you know. It can also be a painful change because you do have to literally release, and I feel like that's what this year is probably going to be, is that kind of release, that clearing of space, that opening, that waiting almost, space, clear, scry almost as well, you know, being open to receive. Yeah, yes, exactly, Kim. They turn to goo, complete goo, like it is just goo. And then out of that goo comes that, you know, like how it's magic, it is pure magic, and that is your potential, your possibility this year. But before we can get to that, you have to be goo. So it doesn't always feel good, but also, like in lots of the natural processes, is like we don't have a choice in it, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like it's probably a good thing, because if we had a choice, it's like, would you like to be goo? No, I definitely wouldn't. You know, we don't have a choice, so we've just got to get on with it. So yeah, that's 2020. Yeah, no mud, not lotus. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully, Kim, if you've been goo for the last 18 months, at least by the end of 2020, there will be butterfly. You will be ready to emerge. And perhaps this year then will be cocoon, which has also got that kind of protective element to it as well. So you can cocoon, you can wait, and then perhaps 2021 you could be looking at having an emerge year maybe, or perhaps 2020 will be your emerge year. The butterfly was on the card and you've already been goo, so you know, you will know where you are in that process. Woodland whispering, that is such a gorgeous, I love the alliteration of that, it's beautiful. Card for 2020, I am shuffling them, honestly, you can see that. A Q4 emerging, I think so, yes. Yana, yes, make sure you do get outside. Okay, Woodland Whispering, you have got this gorgeous elephant card again, and you have Honor Lineage, another Capricorn, Cancer axis kind of vibe. You know, I feel like this is a bigger picture kind of card as well, obviously, because, you know, we're only here because of those who have come before us. And your part in that is going to become more important to you this year in 2020. And you will look at the elephants going around. Do you see them here circling? I feel like it's asking you actually to stand up and kind of be a bit of a leader this year, and to bring the people together who can move things forward in a way that is going to be beneficial for everybody and for all things, for nature as well, not just for like that, well, not at all for like this kind of the way that we have been on the earth more recently in the last few hundred years, you know, I suppose even longer than that, since kind of Christianity got stuck in, or even before that actually. For, you know, for as long as we have history, before her story, after her story, but hopefully we'll get to her story again. And I feel like you've got a part to play in that. You've got a part to play in bringing people together and weaving new possibilities, bringing together a community of like-minded people. So I feel like lineage, definitely, perhaps a circle of some kind, like a red tent or something like that, is in your future. So yeah, think about that. Have a think about that. It is a path, a beautiful path that we can take, and that we are on together. Yes, Pandora Lacora, most definitely. I think we do see that connection, definitely. It's that way of seeing the world as a resource, of man being in dominion over everything else that has set up that kind of exploitation of the natural world and of women and of marginalized peoples. Right, where are we? Okay. Find your tribe. I've seen some comments. I'm like, yes, that's such a good thing you could do. Yes, Nelly, I will, definitely. We will get there. And a few people are having to go and stuff now, so we are getting there most certainly. We're on only 37 people in the room now, and I think I've read for most people now, so we are going good. Okay, so Amanda says that she would like a card. Oh, weave. Yes. Yes, weave. Spin that circle. Oh, hi Keegan, nice to see you. Okay, so Amanda, for you. There are more cards in this deck, honestly, 37 cards, and yet we are having very similar ones. And yes, it makes sense because, you know, we are coming up against similar themes wherever we are in the world. And so we have the blue damselfly, that beautiful little difficult to find, blink if you'll miss it kind of creature. Commune with nature, that Yana had as well. And that's come out, it's twice already, hasn't it? So this is the third time that this has come out. I feel like for you, it is about finding joy in those tiny little things, perhaps a gratitude journal, something like that. It is, yeah, it's an elephant, butterfly, dragonfly, yeah, damselfly, stroke, butterfly. It is that kind of night. But yeah, I feel like for Amanda, it is about gratitude, about taking pleasure in those tiny things. It's about being grateful for what you've got, perhaps not so much a year for expanding, but more a year for seeing the treasure that you already have accumulated. Very appropriate perhaps if you are having a depth year. Cleo, yes, definitely, I will get on to you, I will, I promise. So depth would be a good word. Transition. You're welcome, Heather. Night night. It's almost like the shine, like when you think of the shininess of a damselfly, I feel like shiny, or treasure, maybe like seek treasure, something like that would be a good word. So yeah, see how that sounds for you, Amanda. It's a good practice to get into. You're welcome, Suze. I hope that it is helpful. And you can probably still find, you know, if you want to go back to that place in the video, and this obviously goes for everybody, like I know this is going to be super long now, but you can probably scan iridescence. Yes, I love it. It is that kind of iridescence, that kind of sheen to the damselflies, you know, and that's what catches your eye sometimes. So it's like seeing the iridescence, that kind of magic, almost like impossible, but in nature, you're like, how is that even happening? But yet it is, in the small things. Okay. Yeah, Amanda, so I hope the practice will work for you. I love it. Texas Rose is having a card. I hope you're still here, because that's the only danger when it's going on so long, is that people have obviously had to go and do other things. Okay, but you can always look back and see. Oh, you're here, cool. Salmon, we have salmon again. We have the red salmon, and they are like following the northern lights, which I didn't mention last time, but that is what is jumping out for me from this card for you. Navigate life with determination. But for me, that word for determination is more like in the sense of like something is predetermined, you know, like fate almost. But the way that those stars are calling you, it's like using the natural world to guide you where you need to go, because like that's what the salmon are doing. They haven't obviously like texted each other and said let's all go to this particular spawning point. There is some internal knowledge, that connection to the internal knowledge. I feel like that's what this card is saying here for you, is that you have that kind of internal homing system within you. So hey Nick, it's lovely to see you, and yeah, happy new year to you. It's already been, oh my gosh, yeah, look, 100 minutes. I'm so sorry guys, this has obviously gone on a lot longer than I expected it was going to do. It's been such a long time since I've done a live, I forget how that I need to kind of be not quite so long-winded. So yes, Texas Rose, you have your own internal direction. Direction would be a good card, a good word. You have your word though, don't you? Yeah, refinement. So it's almost like, you know, like when you have like calibration almost of an instrument, like a compass. That's why I feel like that refinement is coming in there. So it's like you can just slightly adjust, you can calibrate your device, and so you can perfectly find your path. That's what I feel like. It's, you know, it's confirmation, I feel like, of what your word is. Okay. Oh, walking my path, you've been sick. I'm sorry to hear that. So I haven't seen you for ages. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea about nature reserves that need volunteers. It is such a cute deck. Good night, Billy. And Happy New Year, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, I think I'm just about catching up now. Oh, no I haven't, it's just jumped. Ah, so annoying. Okay, where was I up to? Okay. Sorry, I'm just basically saying, okay, where am I up to? Okay, where am I up to? Let's carry on, because I want to make sure everybody has their reading if they want to. Oh, that's sweet, Moonchild. So would I like to pick a card for yourself and share my thoughts? If we get time, I will, or pick one more generally, as we are obviously getting further on. No problem, Kim. We'll see you soon. In fact, I might have to admit defeat and say that if you are still here and you want a reading, then let me know again in the bottom. Just say me please or something like that in the bottom, and I'll just scroll down to the bottom. I can catch up on reading the rest of the chat later, because I think I've got so far behind I've lost track of everything. So okay, so Fire Dragon Tarot, I've got you. Lolita, I've got you. Keegan, Collection of Unseen Nature. I think Cleo is here if she's still here. Rossi Ann. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm so far behind. Yes, definitely, you can jump in for sure. No, it's not shouting. It actually really helps, because when it is in the chat and it's so, it's got so kind of full on that I can't catch up. Ah, okay, so right, okay, I'm connecting the dots together. Okay. It's so lovely. They're always lovely, these lives. It's always lovely to just be with everybody and kind of hang out. Right, so I've got Fire Dragon Tarot, Lolita Dolorosa, Keegan, Collection of Unseen Nature, Rossi Ann, Neighbourhood Arts. Oh, thanks, Billy. Yeah, it does make it easier. But, oh, Molly, did you want a card though? You did say you did, didn't you? Let me pull one for you quickly because you've literally been here the whole time. And then we will, oh, and you haven't got one that we've had yet, so that is nice. So this is for you, Molly, and your alchemical process of a year. And very appropriately, the keyword is shapeshift. Which, yeah, you know, making something out of something else. So it makes perfect sense. Fox is an animal that I work with a lot. It also made me think of Sharon Blackie's. She's got a book of stories, which I'm going to get this year, which is about shape-shifting women. And it's called something like Fox Skin. I can't remember what it's called, but it's definitely going to be worth looking up. It's going to be in my list of to-be reads this year. So that might be worth looking up as well. I feel like story is going to be important for you, Molly, as well. I know you've shared that kind of connection as I do with story and communication through story. So look out for Fox stories. Yeah, I feel like that goes really well with your card. Okay, so let me do the people who still want their... Yeah, I got you, Cleo. Okay. Let's do it. Fire Dragon Tarot. So I think there's only like 5 or 6 people left, so we are here. Oh, brilliant, Molly. Writing as well. Yes, definitely. That is transformational writing as well. Writing that changes people when they read it. So I think that's important. That's part of why you're here. Okay. Fire Dragon Tarot. And we've got another one that we have not had yet. Gorgeous. So we have Whooper Swan. And the words are love fiercely. And it is, like, some of these cards are reminiscent of tarot. And I would say this card is reminiscent of a few tarot cards. Obviously, like the Lover's card. But also I see the fact that, like, with the crossing necks is almost like the Two of Swords as well. And so I feel like it's a kind of decisions to be made as well about how you are going to commit yourself and that kind of thing. Yes, Science of Soul Tarot, Jen, yeah. I think I might have a mod or two. It's been so long since I've been live. What I should do is get a few people that I know are in my comments a lot and who I know, and then I could ask them to mod for me next time, which would be good. Billy would probably do it if I asked her nicely. Yeah, I could do with a couple of mods. And if I start doing them again more regularly, then I will. So, Fire Dragon Tarot, do you have a decision to make? Do you feel like you can't commit to either a person, but it's not necessarily a person, to commit to something, because then that narrows off your path? And I feel like this is saying that it doesn't necessarily narrow you, and that you can, there's not just two ways, there are other ways of achieving what you want. And it's okay to kind of to lean into it, to feel strongly about it. Oh, bye, Lachette. I'm sorry I didn't get to do a card for you. Yeah, I just lost track of it all. Another time, I hope. So yeah, Fire Dragon Tarot, have a think about that. Words that come out, for me, weirdly, are like peace, like inner peace, which doesn't really connect in with that whole idea of fierce, but it's almost like kind of pursuing your desire for peace in a really strong way. And also like it's contradictions, like things like strength and vulnerability and things like that are coming up for me around this card. So yeah, It's interesting. It'd be worth looking it up as well. If you know somebody who's got the deck, or if you just Google it, I expect there'll be things on there about it. The Whooper Swan. Yeah. And like, you know, it could be just as straightforward. Swans do mate for life, so it can be to do with that as well. I feel like it's kind of like about having your cake and eating it. Bye, bye guys who are leaving. I know it's been really, really long, and I really appreciate you being here. It's been so lovely. I'm glad that makes sense. Fire Dragon Tarot. Good night, guys. Pandora's, I love your laugh. Thank you. I know it irritates some people. Okay, Lolita Dolorosa. A card. And we have another new one. And I love this. When I first flicked through this deck, I love it. It's a Triskel of Worms. You know, super protective, earthworm, and it is discover your purpose, which is lovely. Yes, Megan, I'm a few people have dropped out of it because they've had to go, so I'm definitely going to be able to do it. I think I'm nearly there. I think I've got like 3 left to do it, so it is good. So Lolita, it is this word this year is about not letting other people derail you, because I feel like you are focused on other people more than you are on yourself. You know, you feel like you should, you know, like so many of us do. We do things for other people before we do things for ourselves, because that's how you be a good human, you know, in many ways, especially if you're a female human. That is the way that's perceived to be the right thing. But you will always feel like there's something missing of you, like there's a part missing of you, unless you do find out why you're here. And, you know, with it being earthworm, I feel like words that would be good would be things like dig, uncover, and literally like to get out and get your hands in the soil, to ground. I don't know if you do grounding, but that is something that would be really valuable. So do that and realize how important you are, because oh, Amanda, that's so lovely to hear. Thank you. I'm glad it was useful. Yeah, there's a lot to this, and look up the Triskel, look up the symbol as well, because that is you might want to put that around you, because that will help to protect your energy and to stop people from being able to pull you away from their wants and needs, from your wants and needs. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And like obviously as worms as well, worms literally digest garbage. You know, it's composting. It's taking something that is a waste product and actually turning it into something that is super nurturing and valuable, really precious. And that is your skill, that is your purpose, is to do that digestion and churning and turning things over. And so it might not be that you are going to be the person to kind of be in the spotlight. Yes, definitely neighborhood arts, aerating, bringing the air, combining the elements, combining earth and air. So it might not be that you're going to be like in the spotlight, but what you do, it does enable other people to do that, but that doesn't mean that what you do is not important, and you should be valued for what you do. And I think also you need to value what you do. I feel like that is like worth, it would be a good word, and value, things like that, but also dig, ground, that kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, I'm glad that makes sense. Keegan. Ooh. Almost one jumped out, but I saved it. Okay. Okay. We're here again. We are here again, and we have monarch butterfly, we have symmetry, we have digest your past, and I feel like that is what it is. We are talking about looking forward instead of looking back. I feel like you have already emerged from the chrysalis, that you are your adult self, you are adulting, you are mature, but you are still, you're finding it hard to leave that caterpillar behind. You're finding it hard to leave the chrysalis behind, to fully stretch out your wings and be noticed. Monarch butterfly, you know, it is monarch, it is sovereign, it is solid and worthy, and somebody that other people can aspire to. And so I feel like kind of those kind of words of queen, monarch, even just adult, mature, you know, like not in a old sense, as in an evolved sense, if you see what I mean. So I hope that makes sense for you, Keegan. It's more of a shift in your perspective, and by choosing a word that will resonate with that, that will help, because it will kind of bring you to that new understanding of yourself. You'll be able to see yourself in the way that other people see you, or will be able to see you once you lean in. Cocoon for last year. Yeah, well, okay. That makes sense. Okay, collection of unseen nature. I love that. Sounds very intriguing. Okay, we've got a totally new card. We've got a broad-winged katydid, which I believe is a grasshopper. And the card words say, discover the pattern. I feel like this is another one that is talking about where we are in our human evolution at the moment, and how we can make things better. And that idea of discovering a pattern, discovering kind of how the universe works and your place in it, and why you feel things as you do, why you know the things that you do, why you already know things about other people in your life that you shouldn't necessarily know, or that other people don't pick up on. Realizing that you are able to do that, and realizing that other people aren't necessarily able to do that. And so you spot the patterns that other people do not see. You can connect the dots that other people can't. And so your job is to share those patterns, to draw people's attention to them. And I feel like your word for next year will be along the lines of reveal, again, things like spin, weave, storytelling even, cycle. It is the kind of bigger picture, that kind of author, maybe even, you know, like the storyteller, the root for it. No, Rossianne, this is for collection of unseen nature. Yours is coming up now, as you are next. And then we have neighbourhood arts, and I think we're almost done. And I think one more person said after that, so we will check now. Yeah, okay, collection of unseen nature. So, you know that about yourself already. I think perhaps what you don't realise is that not everyone can do that. So that is another, seeing the patterns in things as well, like studying systems, patterns of systems, things like astrology, things like tarot, systems that have an underlying pattern to them will come easily to you, and is something that will be helpful to you, because you can use your skill then to help other people. Storytelling, yeah. Ella's still here, love her. She's sat through 120 minutes almost now. At least you got your card in early. Yeah. Okay, so Rossi Ann, this is for you. You have you have cow and bull, which I thought was really unusual when I flicked through this deck originally, because there is only one animal pictured on the card, and it says appreciate the process. And it makes me think of, you know, like that cow or bull is literally chewing things over. And in our culture, we do not appreciate people taking their time over stuff. Yes, Charles, she is the only one who had the snake. And she'd already pulled snake like literally half an hour before we started this evening. So, you know, I think that's really interesting. But yeah, going back to Rosian, this is, we don't appreciate people taking their time. We want everything quickly, now. Don't process things, just literally quick. We want the answers straight away. Whereas there is great value in taking the time over things, about appreciating the journey rather than the destination, to use another cliche. It's about, I think, something like process, something like digest, something like slow even, which might feel not fun. Chew. It is taking the time, it's slowing it down, it is neons, it is finding every little detail in the things, appreciating all of the details in those things as well, and taking the long view, whereas you know, other people are taking shorter views all around you. So you can do that. I feel like there's probably resistance to this, but it's what you need. So you're going to have to appreciate the process, slow down, don't always be worried about the results, about the thing that's going to be coming in you know, the big reveal kind of thing. So Tarry, yeah, I feel like it is, though, it's kind of more physical, like literally chew. Chew it over. Not the most glamorous of cards, and yet, yes, you know, like Cheryl pointed out, it is a sacred animal. It's also very much connected to Taurus, to Venus, to the planet Venus, and so there is definitely a beauty in that, and if you can find that beauty in the process, most definitely do so for next year. Okay, neighbourhood arts. And you want to know if you're going to get a repeat card, we will see now. Though we've had a few different ones, haven't we now? It's interesting. Okay. Yeah, and yes, you have. You also have the white-tailed deer, pause, assess, act. And, you know, we have the seasons, we have the 4 seasons on this card. And so I feel like it is, for you, it is saying to almost to break the year into those seasons, and perhaps in this very first season of the year to not have too much on your plate, to be slow and to pause and to kind of to not do anything, because like assess then does not come in until the next part, and so then you can start weighing it over. So it's almost like you can take a break for the first half and literally do just pause and let it let things kind of wash over you, and then assess. You will spend a few months assessing and seeing how it deciding what you're going to do, and then we have act in the second half of the year, which is appropriate actually, because that is when Mars will be in Aries, although it's also retrograde in Aries for a long time. Mars is basically in Aries for the whole second half of next year. So I feel like it is going to be a one word. It might not work for you this year. You might need to take it seasonally and choose a word for each season. And those words might be pause, assess, act, and see, but it might be that you just pause and then the other words will make themselves known to you as you go through. So that's interesting. I hope that makes sense. And it is, yes, again, another card that we have had many times already. So Where are we? How are I getting so many messages now as well? I've obviously got behind again, so that is not good. Okay, Cheryl says, see the sacred. Oh, Cleo, nourish and digest. Yes, definitely. Okay, Cleo, we are on you, I believe. If I have missed you out, do let me know. I'm glad that feels right to you. It's not very often that I will say to somebody that I don't think you should have a word for a whole year. Usually I think a year is a good amount of time to sit with one word. But I think for you this year, that is not perhaps going to be the... You know, you might want to have an overarching word, but be open to it changing as you go through the year. Okay. So Cleo, who has been very patient, as you all have, thank you. And it's a new one that we have not had, so that is beautiful. It is a nut hatch. Well, actually, it is 2 nut hatches, and it says change your perspective. And I loved this card when I first saw it. I love the kind of day and night, and how just by turning, you can see a whole new, a new way of looking at things. And it reminds me of quite a few tarot cards actually. It also reminds me of in Big Hero 6. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's a kids movie, but it's really good. And the hero gets told to like shake things up a bit, look at things from another point of view, see things from another way, and that is definitely what it is saying. So what I feel like it is for you, Cleo, is that perhaps not huge outward changes this year, nothing majorly changing, like, you know, probably not changing job, probably not moving house, maybe not changing relationships, things like that. But by shifting your internal connection with those things, you will find much more value in the things that you already have. And again, you know, it's another card that speaks to me of small things, of gratitude, of finding magic in everyday moments, most definitely. I feel like spending time noticing those cycles and working with the cycles, the day, working with the sun, working with the moon is pointed to. You know, the beaks are literally pointing to them. So some sun and moon magic, ideally, working with the seasons, flowing with and enjoying being in the greater river of life, you know, in the greater flow of life is what will bring you joy this year. I don't know what your word, if you had a word, but I feel like it would be something like flow, or just kind of cycle, stream, float, gaze maybe. Although I don't know, not being looked at kind of way. But yeah, those kind of things, those kind of easier words, but noticing, always noticing. Yeah. So I hope that all makes sense to everyone, and I have not missed anyone out. I know there were some people that I didn't get to who had to go, so I'm sorry for that. And thank you for those of you who have been here with me. Hey Louise, how are you? I am just starting to wrap things up. Thank you, Texas Rose. Neighbourhood Art says, I'll read it on here. I got the Tower for the year, and in December my 3-card spread was the Tower, 10 of Swords and Death. Oh, joy. I do think I need to be nimble, wise and responsive. Yeah. And maybe perhaps it is just a case of that until that death has occurred, that you can't know what is coming next. You know, it's like in the High Priestess, it's beyond the veil, and so it's something that we can't be there. You know, you can't get to that yet. You don't have access to that information yet. And sometimes that's helpful, you know. It's like when you are the goo in the butterfly, it's it would be easier knowing what you were going in for, but you don't know. And you've got to just go in for it anyway. Yeah. Raven Song, would you like one? Oh, Megan, I didn't do yours. Okay, so I will do them. Don't panic. I will definitely do it. So Megan and Raven Song, let's do those. Let's do Megan's then. As you reminded me. Oh, Megan, you have the grey wolf, and I love that. Like, so often in decks, you will have a wolf on its own, and in this card, it is not on its own, and it is that they are howling at the moon together. It's singing to the moon with tribe, I feel like, nurturing those connections, being in circle, perhaps not, you know, in a huge circle, but definitely connecting with other like-minded people and doing things that you all enjoy together, whether that is like a drum circle or whether it is just visiting like sacred sites, something like that, or just being outside, having a picnic outside, things like that. It's about being, not necessarily talking and chatting and things like that, but being with people who you know to be your people in places that speak to your soul. So it's that kind of group connection. Yeah. Oh, good, Cleo. I'm glad that makes sense. So Megan, words for you, I think, would be tribe, would be connect, would be like dance almost, join hands. It feels like dancing. It feels musical for some reason. It feels like that. Like it's a more physical, more embodied word. Almost like being woven, and there is weaving on the card, you know, being woven in with those other people, threads, connections, weaving, spinning, weaving more than spinning for that. Weaving people into your life. Also like it looks almost like a friendship bracelet as well. So like friends, friendship, bonds, those kind of words. I hope that sounds good to you. Raven Song, yes, you have been so... Oh, good. I'm glad that works for you, Megan. Yes. Maybe write down some of those words and see... tribe, friends. Perhaps for you as well, like I say, it feels almost like song. It feels perhaps for some people who don't resonate so much with written word, it might be that it is a kind of movement that is your anchor point for the year as well. That is a possibility. I feel like it might be a possibility for you, and it makes it harder to find a word when that is the case. Raven Song, you are so patient, and you are going to have this. And on looking at this for you, the beaver, make manifest, it looks more like a wheel to me this time. It looks more like there will be parts of the year when you will be working really hard, and there will be parts of the year when you will get to kind of swim and float and coast. And like you just need to be able to do that. So don't force yourself to be working when you should be floating, or don't be floating when you should be working. And you're going to need to really tune into yourself via those things in the center, via candle magic, via using your stones as anchors, via the elements, via nature, connection with nature. Listen and be tuned into that so that you can know this is a flow time, this is a floating time, and then this is a working time. So I feel like it's kind of going to be a year of stop and go almost. You know, it's not going to be a obvious, I'm starting here and I'm getting to there. It doesn't work like that. It's going to be a more, it's going to unfold, unfurl, blossom, sprout almost. That's not very glamorous though, is it? Turn, that kind of thing. I'm glad it goes to the year ahead reading. Yeah, and like if you've done a whole year and you've taken a card for each month, you'll see that in your cards for another month. There'll be like certain months that are like go, 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 and other months that are like, yeah, don't this month. So yeah, but as for a word that encompasses that, it's like, I suppose flow does encompass that, because that means sometimes you flow and sometimes you come up to a dam and so you float. And then when the dam comes down, you can, or open, then you can flow on again. So I think flow does actually work for that. Okay, I'm shuffling, but I think that I have done everybody who asked for one. If I have forgotten you or missed you, then please tell me now, because I am going to call it a night. I'm sure you're all ready to go as well, because it has been very, very long, especially if you've been here since the beginning. So let me know. I know there's like a slight lag on this because I've got my laptop up as well, and so like it's like a minute later I see people answering me here, so I'll give you a little moment. I think maybe I will take a card for us all for the year. Do you know what? Not for the whole year, just for this little space. Okay, Fairy Wren Whispers, let's take one for you. Oh, thank you, Neighbourhood Heart Arts, that's so sweet. Okay, so Fairy Wren Whispers, you have Fox, and it is shapeshift. This year is going to be about becoming something that you have been aware that you can become, but you have been not quite ready to go for it. So you're going to need to come out into the open this year. You're going to need to step out of your comfort zone and shift into what is coming for you, what you can be. You can always shift back, so you can do it. Okay, I feel like words for you are things like almost like overcome, like there's been obstacles and now you need to, you're going to overcome them. You're going to push to project, to blossom, words like that. Oh, thanks, Louise. I've lost the thread of so many of it as I've gone along, which is really, I hate that when I do that. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm really sorry if I missed you and you asked me for a reading and I haven't got around to it. I can see the Retro Witch did ask me, and so let us do one there. And this is one of 3 owls in this deck. There's 3 different owl cards. This is the little owl, and it is key into wisdom. And little owls are often the kind of, people think they're really cute, but they're actually not that cute. They're quite ferocious. You know, sometimes little things pack a really big punch. So it is, even if when you feel small, you can still, the smallest thing contains the biggest wisdom, the biggest, we each contain everything. So it is like, it's like the macro and the micro, you know, it is that kind of idea. So key into wisdom, that wisdom that's already inside you, even if you can't always hear it all the time, the more you practice that, the more you'll be able to do it. I feel like the way that it's voiced as key, you know, people talk about tarot cards as being keys, and I feel like that is for you this year. Tarot cards are going to be really valuable, and so maybe like a daily reading, something like that, and also other things like that that you can use in spreads and things to really bring forward that wisdom, that connection with that wisdom that is inside all of us. So yes, I hope that is helpful, and sorry for missing you out. And thank you so much, guys, for being there with us all. I am actually going to take a card for us all from a different deck, because I'm fed up with seeing that same one again. I shouldn't say that, should I? Like when you've been doing readings for a deck for a while, I feel like you almost need to give it a little rest. So let's see, get a message from Sacred Earth, from Lavish Earth. I always call it Sacred Earth. Oh my gosh, this is the card that I pulled for myself for the year, and I've just pulled it out again for all of us here. So it's a card for me, and it's a card for all of us for next year, and it's beautiful. Pearl Calcite. Pearl calcite is solid, plentiful, and alive with a high, lovely vibration. It says abundance of all necessities. Pearl calcite has a creamy richness to it that reminds us to indulge in the finer things in life and not deny ourselves the most engaging, inspiring, and life-enhancing experiences. Calcite usually grounds us to the earth. Pearl calcite says, look to the heavens. I am here to inspire and enrich and remind you of the beautiful aesthetic experiences life has to offer. How gorgeous is that? So it's got that connection with the earth and with the heavens. I love it. The key words are abundance, inspiration, life-enhancing, beauty, which is, we've come full circle because we were talking about beauty right at the beginning with Beth's words. So it's finding richness and valuing that. And the quote around the edge, which I will just read you to finish off: forget about barriers, think about possibilities, live outside of your imagination instead of your memory. Gorgeous. Thank you all so much for being here. I've loved it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Warmest blessings, guys, and I will see you soon. And I've got to figure out how to turn it off.